Hi tubers, and welcome back. In today's video I'm going to repair this tire on this 1997 Montgomery Ward's tractor. It went under the name of Powercraft, and this tire is the original tire that came with the tractor. You can see the rot, the dry rot that's on here. Now the only other time I had these tires off was about 5 years ago. I put tubes in. Now this one, I don't know if the tube is leaking, what's going on, but it won't hold any air and it's just split all the way through. You can see it over here. Now the last time I took these off, I was able to get this tire off. I didn't have any anti-seize, so I put some grease on the wheel. Unfortunately, on this tire over here, you can even see that nut. I wasn't able to get this tire off. I had all kinds of lubricant in there. I used heat. I didn't have an air hammer at the time, so I don't know if that would have worked. I have an air hammer today, and if need be, it'll be a tool review for Harbor Freight. And you can see this tire is just as dry rotted, but it doesn't have the crack all the way through, and this is still holding air. When I tried to get this off the last time, from hitting it on the inside with a hammer, I actually broke a snap ring that was inside the transmission, and when you ride this tractor, this wheel would slide all the way out. The axle on this is about 15 inches. I had to take the transmission apart on this to put another snap ring on the shaft to keep it from sliding out. Well, that's it. Let's get started on this wheel here and see how we make out. Now you need a socket and an extension, and I have a breaker bar here to get this nut out. And I did loosen this nut while the nut tractor was on the wheel. So this should come out fairly easy now. And again, these are the original wheels and tires from 1997. This tractor's left out in the rain, the snow, the sun for the last 8 years. I had to leave it under a cover, just didn't have any room in the garage for it. It's used weekly to cut grass, haul wood, manure for the garden, and then some. Even towed the boat trailer around, minus the boat. So there was a lot of weight put on these tires. I'm surprised they held up as long as they did. I have some of this liquid wrench. I'm just going to get some of that in there before we start. I'm going to let this soak for about 10 minutes or so. And after it soaks, I'm going to hit this nut with a hammer. Now I have a similar tractor in the back that I use for parts, and I took the wheel off that tractor that was out in the field, and the nut was out a little too long. If you use this method, don't have this bolt sticking out too far because you will bend the bolt. So I'm just giving it a couple of turns. I'm going to let this sit for about 10 minutes and then I'll come back. Well, I'm back, and here's my little persuader. Going to hit it right on center. Now if this doesn't work, you can use an air hammer to hit this with a little pressure from behind. That should pull it out also. Generally this works. I was pretty surprised a few years back when I couldn't get that other wheel out. I never had one that stiff. And I did use heat. Couldn't get it out with the heat. But I had propane. Maybe it just wasn't hot enough. This is coming out. Like I mentioned, you don't want this bolt out too long because you will bend the bolt. You don't want to hit this stem here if it could be used. Let's pull this all the way out and see what we have. Okay, it budged a little. Hit the rim from the inside. Wow, that came right out. Now, this just had a little bit of grease on it from when I pulled it out 5 years ago. and this penetrating oil, and it came right out. Again, this tractor, I'm emphasizing this, it's from 1997. These are the original wheels, the original tires. Now, to get this tire off the rim. Now, before we can get this tire off the rim, we have to make sure all the air's out, which I think it is. There's various tools that they have to pull the Schrader valve out. By the way, if you're using heat to get this rim off the axle, you want to have that Schrader valve out to let any heat out. I'll step on this to see where we are. This tire is so hard, there's no flex to the rubber. I'm going to use my tire tool to break this bead, but because of the rim, I'm leaving that company over here. That's what happens when you leave these out. Mud wasp nest. But because of this rim, it won't fit on there, but I'm going to use the tool to break this bead. Various ways you could break it. If you don't have the tool, you could get your jack, put your jack under the machine hand, just jack it up. It should come off. If it's still too stiff to come off that way, put a jack under the bumper of your truck. Anything that's heavy, as the jack pushes down, take an idea what's going on over here. This is that Harbor Freight tire remover. It just took that bead right off. If you have one of these, it'll save you a lot of time. Now they make a smaller version of this where you can change your small tires also. I don't happen to have it, so I'll be using a couple of pry bars to get that tire off the rim. But this will save me some work here. There we go. Okay, that's done. You don't need one of these to do this job, but it makes it a lot easier. Okay. Now if you were just changing this tire and you didn't have a tube in here, you just go at it, because you're going to be getting rid of it anyway. But in this case I have a tube in there, so I want to make sure I don't pinch it. Try something a little different here. I have the star chisel. I was looking for a piece of pipe I have, but I can't find any. Let's see if this works. Like I mentioned, I'll be a little careful because there's a tube in there. Don't know if this tube is still good, but with the benefit of the doubt. There we are. Okay, this is a $6 tool, boy, and it's invaluable. One side out. This tube is stuck in there. At one time, this tire, I had a fix-a-flat in there to get me through cutting the grass. The tire went down, and I had to get the lawn done. Wasn't long after that I put the tube in, and I didn't clean it out well. Kind of paying for that mistake now. Okay, I'm gonna pick this up and put it on the bench, and I'll be back once I get the tube out. Okay guys, I'm back. I got the tube out of the tire, put the Schrader valve back in and filled it with air. Now it's obvious where the hole is over here in this tube. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but I have this whale barrel with some water in it to see if there are any holes. This may be salvageable, this tube. We'll find out. That's the only hole there. I think we'll be okay. See if you can see the air that's blowing out of that hole. I don't see any other air coming out of this tube. Wait a minute. Maybe I spoke too soon. No, it's just on that one side there. And the only thing I could figure is maybe this tire got a little low and the tube just rubbed on the inside of the tire. You can see it looks like it's gouged a little here. I have to get a kit to repair this, and I'm not sure if this is repairable. I'm going to give it a shot, but that tire is definitely shot. I took this tire off another tractor, but like that one, it still has cuts in it. I filled it with air, left it overnight, and the air leaked out. It's not as bad as the one that's on there. It has less thread, but also less cracks, with the exception of this right here. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go, but I have to go out and get a patch kit for that tube. And if that tube holds, I'm going to put it in one of these tires and get it back on the tractor. And if not, the only place I found locally to get a tube that fit that tire was right from Sears. Went in, they had it right in stock, it was no problem. Now that was 5 years ago. Sears has changed quite a bit over the last few years. Harbor Freight didn't have it, and Tractor Supply, Farm Tractor Supply, I'm not sure if I have the name right, they didn't have it either. They said they did when I took the trip, a half hour to get there, they didn't have it. In my next video, I'm going to install the tube and remount this tire. For now, this is a wrap, and if you found this video useful, let me know by giving it a like, posting your comments down below, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe. It's free. Well, until next time, stay safe.